The anesthesiologist didn't even realize that the patient had aspirated during the course of the colonoscopy. Would you like to learn what happened? Come join me as I share with you this remarkable story. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury trial lawyer practicing law in the state of New York. So here's what happened. A woman goes in for a colonoscopy. The GI doctor tells her everything's going to be fine. Well, it wasn't. During the course of the procedure, the doctor had difficulty getting the probe into exactly where he wanted to go. In addition, it wasn't until the oxygen saturation monitors started going off, the alarm started sounding, that the anesthesiologist turned around and realized, oh my God, something's going on. And by that time, he didn't even realize that the patient had aspirated. Now, what does aspiration mean? It means that their stomach contents, the food that she had eaten from hours earlier, from the day before, that somehow had come up, that she vomited. And the problem when a patient is sedated, especially in a colonoscopy procedure, when the patient is sedated, they have no control over what goes down into their airway or into their stomach. And now what happens when you throw material up from your stomach contents, now the next time you breathe in, it's going to go straight into the lungs. That's known as aspiration. And when you have foreign material in the lungs, that's known as aspiration pneumonia. You have foreign matter that does not belong in there. And it wasn't until the patient had inhaled the stomach contents, and now the patient's oxygen levels, the amount of oxygen that was saturating through her entire body, had deteriorated dramatically, did the anesthesiologist finally recognize what was going on. And you know what he did? Absolutely nothing. He tried to suction out the patient's mouth, but still then he didn't even realize that the patient had a problem. And he told the doctor, the GI doctor, go ahead, keep going with the colonoscopy, not a problem, everything's fine. Well, it really wasn't fine, because by the time he finished about 10 minutes later, what wound up happening was that the patient was having difficulty breathing. And that will happen when you have foreign materials, especially acidic stomach contents, in the lining of the lungs. And when you have that problem, now the patient isn't getting sufficient oxygenation, even if you give them 100% oxygen by face mask. So they let the patient sit in recovery, and the patient's condition got worse and worse. This patient died 3 days later because of the aspiration pneumonia that simply got worse and worse and prevented her ability from exchanging air using her lungs fully. This tragedy could have been prevented, and it should have been prevented. So why do I share this quick story with you? I share it with you just to show you what can go on during the course of a procedure where the doctor tells you everything's great, everything can be fine. And if it were not for the carelessness and the violations of the basic standards of medical care by the anesthesiologist, this patient would be alive today. You know, I realize you're watching this video because you have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter happened here in the state of New York and you do have legal questions, what I encourage you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. This is something I do every single day, and I'd love to talk to you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's quick video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a wonderful day.